Good morning on Thursday, April 20, 2017. Here's an update on the uprighted 1942 Century Imperial Sportsman. I'm going to hand it over to RJ and have him explain why, unfortunately, the project just became much more complicated because we have to remove all of the deck planking, particularly in the center. Well, go ahead, RJ.
When I flipped this boat over last night and I got it upright, I was walking around it, checking out the top of it to see what kind of stuff we needed to do. And when I grabbed this deck, all these boards are still on here. But when I grabbed the deck, I could actually move the deck like this, and I was like, huh, that ain't right, something's pretty loose. And I noticed this screw right here is pretty loose, and the board flops, and that side's a lot worse. The block that screw over there goes into is actually, I believe, broken or split. Or it misses everything completely because that's really floppy. And I noticed that all these boards right here, if you push down on them, the screw comes up a little bit, so that means they're actually a little loose. And if we varnish that, the varnish will come off and it'll split, and the bolt won't be tight.
And without removing and replacing them, we really can't countersink them properly, huh?
Right.
Yep.
So I started by pulling this board off, the first one here. I pulled the screws out of it, and I noticed that the deck dropped right down quite a bit, and I was like, huh. So I pulled the next screws out, and it dropped down more. And I did the next board, and then I noticed that the whole deck is floppy. I'm like, huh. So I took it apart, pulled the boards off, and right here, there's a screw that went into this block, which should be a pretty good sized screw considering you have a pretty good sized block and it's holding your whole deck up. And you never know if somebody's going to put weight on this deck or kneel on it or anything like that. So I pulled the screw out and I realized it's about about an inch long. And when it goes through the first board, it only sticks out about 3/16 of an inch into this wood actually, so it wasn't really holding anything. So last night, to sturdy it up, I put this 1.25 inch screw in there, or 1.5 inch screw in. That held it, but it should still probably be a little longer.
And what that block needs to be fastened more securely itself, right?
Right. Before we'll actually fasten it to the gunwale in more than one spot. We'll probably come back with a screw here. Once that's fastened, we'll bring the deck up to it and then fasten to this block. But there's really not much structural strength the way it's
a little bead of 5200 in there would be
another thing
good
is
insurance.
The deck. I've figured out from past experience, if you don't seal, or if you don't glue the deck to the frames, then water gets in between there and it actually rots from the inside out. And your boards will loosen up rather quickly. Your boat actually loosens up rather quickly. We use 53 and 5200, and we would do each frame where it goes on. And just the 5200 itself would hold your boat together, but we're going to put some screws in it too.
And then the foredeck needs, these planks need releasing as well.
Yes, they're all loose, and there's some that have some small little splits. If you put a little bit of pressure on them, they open up. Those when we remove these planks, we'll fix the boards all up, and we'll actually lightly sand them all and get them looking pretty good before we reinstall them. And we'll countersink these holes just a touch deeper, so when we put them back down, we'll be able to finish sand without getting down to the heads of the screws.
And we'll sand with a longboard, right?
Yeah.
We do an orbital here, you're going to have total sea of cross-grain scratches.
Yep.
So, well, we've done this job correctly from the beginning. We want to preserve her correctly. She's a very rare example of boats coming out of the Century factory. So we will continue working and update you again.
One more thing we should probably talk about is the dash. It's got a full length split from one side to the other. We could repair it like that, but your steering goes through there, and that's where your steering wheel is mounted, so you are going to be having some up and down force on that dash. Although I guess this boat's set up for either.
Yeah, this boat can be steered from either point. That doesn't appear to ever have been drilled for a steering wheel. It's actually drilled back here. It was that. There's another reason why this is so floppy right here. The steering wheel was hung right there.
Right in the center. Where the 3 holes are.
Yes, the steering wheel was hung right in the center. I'm not quite sure
Must
what.
be your start button, maybe,
That's right. That's correct.
or a light switch. It's that's definitely not a factory cutout, though.
No. It looks like the steering wheel was at one time mounted in the front dash, the forward dash panel. I don't know. I like saving old wood, so I think we'll make an attempt to glue this and see if we can save this board. And that's for after releasing all the planking. So that's where we are on the Century Imperial Sportsman 1942 on Thursday, April 20, 2017. Thank you so much. Bye-bye for now from Snake Mountain Boat Works.